So we know how surprising this playoff run has been for the Montreal Canadiens, the same Montreal Canadiens who I thought at the beginning of the season were going to look like the best Canadiens team I've seen in my lifetime, only to go through a regular season which was very so-so and they almost don't make it. And now they're in the third round against the Vegas Golden Knights here. When you look back at this playoff run to this point, as surprising it has been, are there any specific things that also surprise you about this team?
For me, it's their ability to roll four lines. And I think that's been really the key for them throughout this playoff run, is that they have everyone can do the job, that everyone's able to contribute. You're not just relying on one line, and especially that fourth line that they have right now. You know, I think the old school fourth line were kind of the tougher one, the goon line that would go onto the ice to rock things up. But now this is this energy line that they're able to bring. They're able to score some goals. They're able to have that sort of spark with their teammates as well when that fourth line is really going. And I think it helps that they have four lines that can contribute. So it's not the pressure on the same guys all the time. And when you're not feeling that constant pressure, you're not overthinking things, you're just going out there and playing. And if your shot doesn't go in, well, then you know maybe you'll get another chance, or someone else on the team will step up and be the hero of that game. So that's been the biggest surprise for me.
I really like the discipline in their game plan. And I mean, if you look at some of the details where they're not giving on-man rushes, and they are really, really good at having their third man high. I mean, I touched on this before, which allows the defense to stand up with a real close gap in the neutral zone. And it doesn't give Vegas much time and space to enter the zone with any kind of speed. So there's three guys lined up, sometimes four, that forces them to dump the puck in, and it's really, really effective in making it difficult to the Vegas forwards coming in under control. So and they consistently do it, and it's really nice to see the D have the confidence knowing that their forwards, even though you're not supposed to trust them, they're trusting them right now in doing what they're supposed to do and allowing them to stand up and make it really difficult for the opposition. And it's working. They believe in it, and they're executing it very well each and every shift. And the results are there.
To me, the biggest surprise is their consistency in the playoffs. I mean, the only thing consistent about them in the regular season was their inconsistency. That 7-1-2 start to start the season. At that point, a lot of us said, boy, this team will be where they are right now, the way they came out of the blocks. Then everything fell apart. They never won more than 3 games in a row all regular season. They won 7 in a row in the playoffs. So just the consistency, and also the incredible turnaround starting with Game 5 against Toronto. Inconsistency, they won that first game in Toronto, and everybody was, oh, wow. And then they went back to being the inconsistent Canadiens, and they're down 3-1. The way they played in Game 4, they looked like a team was just going to roll over and die. Like, there was no fight. There was no emotion. There was nothing. There was like a dead hockey team. And then, as Philip Deneau said after, we looked in the mirror and said, we don't want our season to end this way. And whatever they did after that, they won Game 5 and 6 in overtime and won the series in Game 7. But, watching that Game 4, I never would have, I wrote a column like there was no reason to believe they would win Game 5 against Toronto the way they played in Game 4. So just their ability to hit the switch since then and become the consistent team that they've been, even the games they've lost in the playoffs, they played well. So this just the consistency has been there through the playoffs, and it's been really impressive, especially, as I said, the way they, heading into Game 5, I don't think any of us saw that coming.
I know we don't necessarily have to specify players. There's obviously a list of guys who have surprised to this point in the playoffs, but I think the guy at the top of that list for myself, Cole Caufield, surprises me the most. I think this was a guy who, considering the abilities that he has and how useful they would be for this particular organization, I was on the train that said, okay, shelter him as much as you can, have him play the American Hockey League, take your time before even letting him sniff NHL ice. And now he's proven to be among the team's better offensive weapons, and not necessarily as a guy who just has a really sick release who can score goals, but his playmaking ability has also been in the spotlight for the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, his playmaking ability literally led to a series-winning goal from Tyler Toffoli against the Winnipeg Jets. Like, Cole Caufield has established himself in this Montreal Canadiens forward core through this postseason. It's making for a really great 2021 for this guy, a kid who obviously won the Hobie Baker Award at Wisconsin, scored all these goals, goes into the NHL, and pretty much hits the ground running. I mean, I knew he was going to be a good player for this team. I just didn't think he'd be this good for them right away. And I understand there still is some sheltering with some of the minutes he still is getting for the Montreal Canadiens, but what he's been able to do with Nick Suzuki, I also think what he's been doing with Tyler Toffoli as well is a little bit more underrated, but just what he's been able to do on the ice offensively, just finding space as well. I think that's also been a huge surprise. I'd go out to say that's the biggest surprise for me through this postseason, which has produced no shortage of surprises to this point. Let us know in the comments section what has surprised you the most about this Montreal Canadiens team. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit hockeyinsideout.com to look up our full episode.